Hi, my name is Augustine, and we're going to be having a debate about capitalism versus socialism. Andre and Adrian are going to be on team capitalism, and me and Angeline are going to be on team socialism.
In capitalism, you get to decide what you want to do, and you get to work for what you want to work for. And in socialism, the government controls the things that you do and how much you get and what you do with what you get.
I believe that is complete fiction. I think there is no way that you can possibly choose to rise above a system which is so incredibly flawed that it's designed to literally crash every 47 years. I don't believe that you can work towards what you want to build if you are constantly being oppressed in this society. Only a very small percentage of the population has the option to do that. And what they're choosing to do with their power and their money that they've acquired is completely against everyone else and the entire earth, actually. Everything that this world is producing right now is destroying the environment, it's destroying everyone's mentality, it's destroying everyone's self-concept all the way to families and smaller businesses. This is not a system that is welcoming or inviting to everyone. It's not inclusive. Only some people have the decision to do what you were speaking of.
In socialism, the government controls on how much that you can get from selling something or how much that the other person gets to have. And in capitalism, you get to control how much that you want and how much money that you want to get.
There's a common misconception with capitalism, and it's that people think that only some people get to the top, and that's not entirely true. Because over the past 30 years, capitalism has raised the living standards of the nation, and all of the poverty over the past 30 years has been cut in half. India and China have become more capitalist, and that's been helpful in part to poverty going down.
Right, and the reason for that being is because all of the American capitalists took their factories, they built them in these places for profit. You can pay them less and you profit more. The issue with that is that because they took all the jobs over to these countries, now Americans are facing more unemployment, and they can't even afford to participate in this capitalist society. How many people can actually afford to pay for the things that China and India is producing? It does not make sense.
Some stores are employee-owned, so they aren't capitalistic because most stores like Walmart, they are owned by the higher ups, and only the higher ups can control it. With employee-owned, anyone can be the higher ups.
It is better to be one of the higher ups because then you can also control on how much money that you give away. If I were an capitalist, I would use my money to benefit people who desperately need the money, for people that are sick or old.
I don't think that there's many capitalistic people who would just give out their money for the people who need it. Usually it's just keeping the money. I think socialism is better because other things like housing, health services, and food and power will be evenly distributed, and no one would have to desperately need anything.
In socialism, the government has all the power and everybody else is at a certain living standard and everybody has the same stuff. But the concept of socialism is I work for you so that you can do the things that you want. But in capitalism, it's I work for you so that I can do the things that I want with the money that I make or the revenue that I make.
Socialism is an umbrella term. It doesn't speak on one specific system, but several different philosophies and different types of socialism are covered under this one thing. Most people don't know what socialism is because it's not taught. Americans run from the entire concept because of what's happened historically. But there's no room for improvement if we never learn from our mistakes. Socialism does not necessarily mean that the government owns everything. The means of production could be managed by the community. It's in the hands of the workers and not in the hands of the shareholders, who don't produce but earn everything from the production, and the ones who are producing are not earning. I believe that it's completely unfair, unjust, and unethical, and there's no way to justify what these capitalists are doing to these people. Where is the inclusiveness, and how are people going to ever rise above from this system? We've tried capitalism, we know it does not work. Capitalists know that their system is flawed, and it's inverted. It's not working. They're going for what's profitable and not what makes sense. And they can't because they need the profits. So it's either time to move to another system or the economy will drive itself to the ground.
So recently, like with the younger people in this generation, they've been thinking that socialism is better than capitalism because it's more fair. And it may seem more fair, but in actuality, the world doesn't run by how fair it is. You work for what you get, and if you have to work for what everybody gets, then that's actually not fair. So, what if somebody's working much more than everybody else, and then everybody gets the same thing? That's not fair. I think that maybe that all the people aren't oppressed per se, but they don't have the power to grow. The people don't have the power to grow. The government just keeps everything the same if it's a socialist economy. The government have the power, and the rest of the people, they don't have the power. So that seems like oppression.
In such countries that they mentioned, if socialism was actually spreading the money across everyone, then there wouldn't be any homeless people in such countries.
Well, yeah, I'd say everybody'd have a okay standard of living, but they don't have what they need to grow. So what they want is not what they get. They just get whatever they are willing to get, whatever the government's willing to give them. The government has all the power, and the people don't have the power, and they just have whatever they're given. So they don't have what they need to build. Since the 1990s, China and India, they've become less socialist and more capitalist. So they probably, in China, they work for what they're getting, and it's not because of a socialist economy.
Working for what you're getting is socialism. That's not capitalist. They say that this system is going to benefit, but how could it? It's only going to benefit the people who are profiting, which is a very small fraction the population. In socialism, the idea is that what you contribute is benefiting the entire community. You grow together instead of exploiting one another. That is the entire point, that we can all prosper and not just one person by using and manipulating the masses. So I don't know where working towards what you're getting came from, but in my mind that is the idea of socialism.
Many countries like Finland, Norway, Denmark, and Switzerland all have socialistic practices, and the people are happier and healthier.
So the countries that they listed, she said that they are socialistic, but in actuality they may have some socialistic practices, but they are actually like mainly capitalistic, and the only reason it seems socialist is because of the heightened taxes. They have like pretty high taxes, so it seems like everybody has the same thing, but everybody like makes a different amount and they work for what they get. It's just the heightened taxes is the difference.
In socialism, you can work as hard as you can but still get the same amount of money. But in capitalism, you will get the same amount. You will get more money for the harder that you work.
In capitalist societies, what's reality is that you are working hard and getting nothing, so or the bare minimum. So that statement is completely false. And in Finland, it's not just that the taxes are raised, equality is valued in not only the education system but also the workforce. There's more equal rights for women and men. The students are not competing with each other. It's centered around the student and not how much is the school making on the students. And this is why we see Finland as one of the highest ranking education in the world. The students are able to excel in this system. There's less poverty, less unemployment rates, and also Finland is a capitalist country, but it does have many socialist values. And what I'm saying is that we can learn from socialism and improve what we've learned from capitalism, which is a failing system. We don't have to stay in the same society and the same way of thinking that we know is flawed. Why not move towards something that is beneficial for the entire population and the environment and the betterment of our future? That should be the goal, not making more profits and not holding our shares in whatever company. We should be wanting to share and have it so that everyone can succeed, not just a few people. It may be the case that American schools have more innovation. People may rank higher in terms of their IQ, but in the social societies, education is free, and it's a much better experience for the students. Is the goal making more money, or is it the health and well-being of these people? I think that it is true that innovation may be higher in American schools, but very few people get the chance to even go to school because it is so expensive. Most people, they don't even dream of going to some of the high-level schools because they can't afford it. And that is completely unfair. We're not basing the value of a person on their skill sets, abilities, and what they have to offer. We're basing it on how much money they can give to schools. So how much are we wasting by letting people who could be great not have a chance or the opportunity to prove their worth, to be seen and heard by the world because they're being oppressed? I am almost sure that if we gave those people a chance, then we would see a completely different world that is far more advanced, and innovations would come more, I believe, because more people would have the opportunity to share their ideas. Sometimes the people who have these innovations, their technology and their ideas are stolen by capitalists and profited on, and they see nothing of it. It's unethical and it's not right. There has to be a solution.
In a socialistic society, the government would have the power, and since everybody would get the same thing, and the government gets more than everybody else, they wouldn't care to make people smarter, because they wouldn't care for the education, because why would they need people to get smarter if they don't have anything to innovate it for? Like, why would they care if there's like no room for innovation, there's no room to grow, because the people can't do anything? And what happens if the school system just decides not to do anything? What happens if the people just decide to stop working? Would everybody still get the same thing? Would the people still get the same thing for not working at all? Or would everybody lose money because some people aren't working? And what happens if nobody works? Would the whole economy just crash? Then what happens?
In a socialist society, the idea is that me benefiting myself is going to benefit you. And so everyone's contributing, and to benefit myself, I have to benefit you. And if we're thinking in a more communal and holistic way, then everyone benefits. It's not just not working, everyone wants to contribute. Humans are social creatures. We all work better in groups, and we're able to thrive when we work together work in a collective towards a goal. Crime would most definitely go down in a social society, because logically, if you think about it, you benefit more from the collective. You're gaining what everyone is contributing, instead of going and stealing from whatever small thing you can get. It will benefit everyone to be a part of a socialist society. And that would not be the same if it's capitalist, because people have to scrape for what they can get, and most of the time, what are you actually going to steal? Resources are slim for the people at the bottom, so in order to steal, you have to just go for what you can get, which isn't that much, because the wealth is held very securely and tightly for the small percentage of the population. Statistics say that crime goes down in socialist societies. And if you're thinking about yourself through the lens of this is my community and this is how we can all benefit each other, it's less likely that you will let ego and greed get in the way and want to commit certain crimes.
There may be ego and greed because there are certain people who would want to grow, and if everybody already gets the same thing, they don't have the things that they need to grow. So there are probably going to be some people who are going to commit crimes and steal stuff so that they have what they need to grow, or just have more so that they can be higher than other people. Because many times in history, there's always this one person who wants to have more than everyone else.
I believe that if we were in a socialistic society, then the crime rates would go down a lot. and there may be one person who always wants more than others. It won't be as many people who would try to steal because they have what they need. I'm pretty sure that people usually steal when they need it. And most animals, they also have socialist practices and like characteristics, like elephants and octopuses and seahorses.
Of course, there's space for a hybrid version of both systems, and that's what exists in the Scandinavian countries and also other European countries. They take from socialism and they apply it to capitalism, which is the reason why they've been able to prosper.
In closing, capitalism makes more sense because you work for what you get and you have what, and you can start from anywhere and you can just build upon what you have.
Ending remarks. Socialism would benefit a lot of people because of health. Everyone would have better health services and food and power.
We've seen socialism work in several ancient civilizations. We've seen examples of socialism in many ancient religions. A bunch of texts from all over the world are pro-socialism. In modern day, the people are pro-socialism. And we know that we've seen it work. We've also seen it not work. But we can learn from those mistakes and choose what does work. We can choose a better future for the population, for the society, and for everyone. We don't have to be oppressive. We don't have to be a capitalist society that says only some people can live their lives and comfort and profit off of everyone else. We can be a better world. We can be a better society. We can choose to do better for the community. We can choose to do better for ourselves. Socialism definitely has some values, some practices, and some characteristics that would change our world for the better.
I want to say thank you for watching this video. We put a lot of time and effort into it.
Yes, we did! Follow, subscribe, and like!
Yes, sir.
And feel free to comment if you have any comments.
Filmed in front of a live purple audience.
Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for watching the video.
Make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, and share so that we can get at least 1 million views on YouTube.
Yes, and if you have any ideas for future debate topics, feel free to comment them.
And knock knock.
We'll review.
Knock
Again,
knock.
thank you for watching.
Knock knock. Who's there? I need up.
Okay.